Greetings, friend. Timberlake here from Smart Hobbies, the channel where I help you turn a passive interest into a fun and enjoyable hobby. Today we're looking at Sudoku. In particular, I found this puzzle in a book called Pocket Size Sudoku. It's an expert rated puzzle. I'm going to solve it today. I believe I'll be able to find a couple of shortcuts to help you get through this puzzle a little bit quicker, a little bit easier. I'll explain how I do it. Before we begin, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below so you can get all the new content that I have to offer. Let's get started. Okay, I got this puzzle from Pocket Size Sudoku. It's rated expert, and we're going to use paper and pencil method to solve it, which means I'll mark down like Snyder notation. Whenever I have like two left in a block or row or column, I'll make those notations. I'm not going to show all the candidates. I don't believe I'll need that to solve this puzzle. So we have a 1 in row 1 and a row 1 in columns 2 and 3. It means that has to be a 1. And then we can put a 1 there and a 1 there. Looking at the 2's, can't make any. Oh, so we have a 2 in column 6, a 2 in row 8. And so now we have what it makes a pointing pair here in block 8. And so now we know that 2's come down here, 2's go up here. So the 2's in block 5 have to be here. Looking at 3's, 3 in row 1, 3 in row 2, means that has to be a 3. To those 2 spots in block 2. Do I have any other 3's I can solve? Not this time. Looking at the 4's, 4, 4, okay. 4 is limited to these 2 spots in block 3. And these 2 spots in block 9 because of rows 7 and 8 and column 7. And we'll be able to solve, so we have column 4 and 6. That makes this 4, and that's 2. And now you see here 6, row 5, 4, so hidden single 4 right there. And now 4 in column 1, column 2, hidden single 4, which eliminates this 4 and makes that a 4. So I believe we've completed the 4s as soon as we get this last one down here. So there's 4s. All right, looking at 5s. Got a 5 here in column 5 across, so that makes this a 5 and that a 5. The only 2 spots left in this block. And 5 cut across row 2, 5 in column 1. Now we're going to have a pointing pair of 5's. So that means the 5's have to be in column 2 here in block 1. So this comes down. That means that this or this, the only 2 places left to be a 5 down here in block 7. And cutting across rows 4 and 5 have a 5. So that means here in block 5, the 5's have to be down low. And we can solve. So 5 here, column 7, 5 in column 9 means that has to be a 5. So we can eliminate this and turn that into a 5. So it's nice to make that notation because it makes it a lot easier to solve. Once you get one, you can find the others. 6 across row 4, 6 across here means that this has to be 6 in one of these 2 spots. And the 6 here in column 8 means the 6 are limited to these two spots. Anywhere else for a 6? Okay, 6 here, 2. 6 is on these two spots. And there's more than 2, so I'm not going to mark the 6 down here in column 7. All right, 7s. 7s are limited here. And block 6. And 4 spots for 7 there, 4 there. 4 spots for 7 there. Can't make any change. Well, we can make one deduction. So the 7 is cutting through here in block 8. So it has to be either in row 4 or row 6. Well, that's the same thing. The 7 is also limited to row 4, row 6 in this block. So that means 7 in column 5 will have to be in one of these two spots. So that's called a claiming pair. That's where the 7s are limited to. 8. We got 1, 8 that I can see. 3 spots for an 8. That doesn't help us. 8 across, don't see there. And then 9s. Okay, so we have a 9 in row 1 and 3. And then we have a 9 right here. So that makes this a 9. It's a hidden single. Well, now we can solve this for a 6. And the 6 and the 6. Make that a 6. Make that a 6. And the 9. And the 9 makes this a 9. One is these two spots in block 6. Anywhere else we can solve for 9s? Yes, so row 7 and row 9 and column 3 all have 9s in it. Means the 9 has to be here in block 7, hidden single. And now we have 9 column 1 and 3, so the only place in block 4 for a 9 is right there. So we're doing great. And then this 9 now makes that can't be a 9, so our 9 here in block 6 has to be right there. And now we have the 9 across row 4 and 5. You also see there's a 5. Well, it shows that a 9 can't be here, so the 9 has to be here in block 5, which means this has to be a 5. Okay, continue on. Did we get all the 9s? I believe we got all the 9s. Now the 5s. Since this 5's here in column 4, you can eliminate that 5. And so this has to be a 5. This has to be a 3. And we just got rid of that 5 there. This has to be a 5. And now I believe we got all the 5s solved. All right, looking really good here. So now we're going to kind of cut through and see what else we can solve. So what's left here in block 2? We have uh, 6, 7, 8 across the top. Okay, can't really narrow that down anymore. And we have here, let's look at column 5. What's left is a 1, 6, 7. So 1 there, so that would be a 6, 7. This could be a 1, 6, 7, and a 1 there. Okay, so the only place we can have a 1 in column 5 is right here. So that has to be a 1. And we can get rid of that 1, which means this has to be our 7. So now we have a 6, 8. Say a naked pair. So I'll put that in there. That'll help us solve other parts of this puzzle. And also a 6, 8. Go right there. Good. So now, since there has to be a 6, an 8, and this column 4, this can no longer be a 6. So this is kind of another pointing pair. This has to be a 6. And you see the 1 cutting across row 4, so that has to be a 1. Now the 1 means that a 1 is in row 6 for here in column excuse me, yeah, row 6 for block 6. And now I'm going to I'm turning my focus more on these blocks that have only 2 or 3 cells left to figure out. So I can look here in block 3, we only have 2 to figure out. It'd be a 2 or an 8. I don't have a 2 or an 8 coming in, so it's going to be a naked pair. But it'll help us solve the rest of the cell. So this is a 2 and an 8. That means this has to be a 1 or a 7. Well, hey, the 1's cutting across. The only place left for a 1's right there. And so now the 7 has to be right here, and we can get rid of that 1. You see, that's how we're using notation to kind of solve this a little bit quicker. So moving forward, 2, 3, and a 7. So a 2 there, nothing marked there, and a 3 there. Okay, really can't add much more to row 4 just yet. So 2, 3, and an 8 along this column. So there's a 2. No, can't add anything there. And 3, 7, 8. So the 3 there. There's nothing to eliminate further. The 7 here. Well, yes. Okay. How about we look here? And again, I'm holding off on putting 3 candidates in any one spot on purpose. I just want to see if I can do this with doubles or naked pairs first. So cutting across here, 2, 8, 2, 8 has to be there. So now I'm curious, what goes into this spot right here? It could be a 2, 3, 4, 5. It can't be a 6. It could be a 7. It can be an 8, but it can't be a 9. All right, we have a very interesting phenomenon here. You notice that this can only be a 2 or 8. It's going to be a 2, 7, or an 8. It can be a 2 or 8, and that can be a 2 or 8. This is what's called a unique rectangle. We know that this Sudoku, as it's all set up, has one unique solution. And I checked that prior to starting the puzzle. Well, if the worry here is that if we have an 8 and a 2 and an 8 and a 2, and we solve the rest of the puzzle, we come back and we go 2 and 8, 2 and 8. And you'd have 2 solutions for the same puzzle because those numbers could change. Well, that's not possible. So what we know is the only cell where there's an additional candidate, in this case the 7, means that 7 has to be a solution to keep this all unique. So we can solve this for 7. And that, I don't think when they made this puzzle that they were allowing for that technique or requiring that technique to solve it. But it does help us out in a big way. So there we go. Now we have a 7. If we look right here, 2, 8, 6, 8, 2, 6, 8. I will fill in the rest of this just to keep these triples alive. And so I can monitor them a little bit easier. Okay, if I'm coming down column 2, we got 2, 3, 8. What that tells me is now the 3 has to be here, has to be here. So this is a claiming pair. It means 3's can't be there, so the 3's have to be in one of these 2 spots. Or you can see this as a pointing pair, and the 3's have to be in this spot. That will help us out. Let's look, we have kind of a naked pair in this block. What is a naked pair? 3, 7, 3, and 7. Okay, so we know that's 3, 7, 3, 7. Well, the only thing left on this row is a 2. So we can solve that for a 2. And so 7, 7, come down here. That also, one of those has to be a 7. I'll mark that in. And what's left to solve in here? 3, 7, and 8. So that's 7 and 8, 3, 7. And this would be 3, 8. Alright, my notations actually helped me out quite a bit here. Getting kind of close to the end, or where we're going to actually have it cracked. And so I will mark this, since this is kind of a naked triple. Seven, 8, 3, 7, and 3, 8. The reason, because there's just 2 candidates left in each of these. If I solve one of those, I can solve the other 2 really quick. So I will put that in there for that reason. And you can see 3, 7, 7, 8, 3, 8 works for here too. Alrighty. So what else can I look to solve here? Let's look at column 7, 2, 3, 8. Some additional solve there. Well, the 2's can't be in column 9, so this has to be a 2, which means 3, 8, that has to be a 3 or an 8 as well. Oh, you know, I realized this could have been an 8 as well. But what you're going to find out is we have another unique rectangle. Look at this, 3, 8, 3, 8, 3, 8, 3, 7, 8. Aha! And like I told you, the only way to make this unique is this has to be a 7. We can solve that for a 7. We can solve that for an 8. 3, 8, 3. This is really going to get us where we need to be to solve this puzzle. 6, 8. Probably the other thing you notice in using this application, it doesn't automatically eliminate the candidates, just like you're doing paper and pencil. I have to go in there and eliminate the candidates. I don't get that kind of help like I would if I was doing it with a different application that eliminated candidates as I marked them down. What do we have left here? We have 7. Okay, 7, 7. I'll mark the 7s here just to help me in my notation. So let's look at column 5. We can finish that out. We're missing a 6. And we cut across here. We still need a 3 and an 8. We have a 3 in column 3, so that has to be an 8. And that's a 3. And now that 8 can be taken away. 2 and a 6. So it remains in column 3. And I look over here. What do we have left in column 9? We got 1 and a 6. And then look over here. We have also another 3 and an 8. 3 and 8. Okay, so what other changes can we make, or what eliminations can we make here? So let's look in column 6. So we know that it can only be a 3 or 7. This spot, 1, 3 or 7, and 1 or oh, the 3's right there. So that's no longer a 3. That's actually a 7, and then which makes that a 3. And so we can eliminate that 7. You know, this has to be a 7, which means that has to be a 2. And since this is an 8, that can be a 6. That can be a 2. That can be an 8, a 2, an 8. And now we're really figuring this out. The 2's there, so that's a 6, which makes this a 1, which makes this a 6. And using that notation really helps us solve the puzzle a little bit easier. What's left in here? 2 and 3. We already got the 2 down here in row 9, so that's a 3. That's a 2. Here we need a 1. Oh, that can't be a 3 anymore, so that's an 8. So that's a 3. You get a 1. And what's left? An 8. Congratulations, the Sudoku is solved. Well, what'd you think? Did you get stuck anywhere? Was there any time I was doing this puzzle where you're like, oh, Timberlake, you totally missed this one? You're looking at a cell and you start screaming at the screen, hoping I'd catch it. I call those screamer cells. Mark in the comments. Mark the time frame. Say, hey, this is a screamer cell. I was hoping you'd figure that out. Also, let me know what else you'd like to see in my channel, and I'll be happy to take your recommendations to come up with some new puzzles. I hope you learned something today about unique rectangles and how to solve those when you see them in paper and pencil type puzzles. Thank you so much for watching.